Texas. New polling out from the Texas Politics Project shows a lot more Texans are making up their minds about who to vote for in the race for president. But the same can't quite be said for the race for U.S. Senate here in Texas. Democratic Congressman Colin Allred hopes to unseat incumbent Republican Ted Cruz. Now, earlier this week, I spoke with Dr. James Henson with the Texas Politics Project about how indecision is affecting this race. Your poll showed incumbent Senator Ted Cruz has an 8% lead over Congressman Colin Allred. Allred's numbers are higher since June, but the undecided numbers are still high in this race.
Yeah, I mean, the Senate race is a very interesting one, and I think that's why you've seen, more variance in the polling in this race than you have in the presidential race in Texas. This race there's not been a lot of attention paid to this race, although these numbers show that it's increasing. But you're right to point out that there are a lot of people that have not made up their mind or are neutral in the race in some way, or looking for another candidate at this late date. I think the most interesting thing about this race is that there's still a large share of Democrats in the range of about 20% who have not committed to Colin Allred, who's never run statewide and is simply not as well known as Ted Cruz in this race. Now, you can look at that 20% or so that don't have a view of Allred, and you can spin that negatively by saying, look, this is a guy that has not caught fire. It's now after Labor Day. But you can also say that he has room to grow. If he can get the attention of those Democrats and get them committed, that it makes this race more competitive. But the real headline here is that this race is really still developing, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that a lot of people still don't know a lot about Colin Allred.
Now, you have less than a month to make sure you are registered to vote. October 7th is the last day to register in time for Election Day on Tuesday, November 5th. All you have to do is text the word VOTE to the number you see on your screen, 512-459-9442, for links to check your registration.